accounts. By end of this class, what we will be knowing is what is debit, what is credit, what is a trial balance, and how to form journal entries actually. That will be the scope of the session. Most of you might be aware actually, but let me give you a new perspective to debits and credits actually. I'm sure most of you might not be aware. I have many students from my existing batch who will definitely be aware of what I'm going to talk now. But still, it is going to be a refresher actually for anyone who is in touch with accounts. The next 2 hours is going to be very crucial. A refresher course for those who already know it, and for those who are attending my session for the first time, it is absolutely important that you stay focused for the next 2 hours. And also, I request everyone to participate actually. Okay, so I will be asking a lot of questions. Do participate and keep the session interactive. So the more you participate, the better for you and other students around. Am I clear with my expectations? Okay,
yes, sir.
Fine, guys. So let's start. Let me share my screen. Let me know once you're able to see the screen. Okay. See, we will start with something very basic actually. Okay. To start with, I will remind you of the golden rules actually. We all would have understood, right? The golden rules of accounts. To be very honest, I'm not a very big fan of golden rules. I personally don't like the golden rules actually. So the first 15-20 minutes of the session, I will talk about the golden rules. And after that, we will talk about the modern rules of accounts actually, which is going to be the lifeline of accounts actually. Okay, so once you are clear on the modern rule of accounts actually, that will help you not only in your CA journey, post CA also. In case someone wants to know what is a debit and credit, that rule is going to stay with you for your life. Okay, but let me start with golden rules. Then I will switch over to this rules, guys. So in golden rules, there are 3 things, right? What are the 3 golden rules, guys?
Personal account, real account, nominal account.
Personal, real, nominal. Who was that?
Deepa.
Deepa. Okay. Personal, real, and nominal. Very good, Deepa. Can you tell me the rules also? What is
Personal
the rule?
account.
Yes.
Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real account. Real account.
Yes.
Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains.
Credit what goes out. And nominal account?
Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains.
Okay. You guys are able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks for the validation. Okay. Good, Deepa. It's a good start. I encourage participation. So good that I have students who are participating. Yes. So good, personal, real, and nominal, right? What is meant by a personal account actually? Can someone tell the example of personal account, or can someone define a personal account? I will go with Deepa.
Personal account means it is a name. It is a person's name. In the personal account, we can transact. Transactions will be affected in the personal accounts.
Okay. In nominal account, transactions are not affected.
Yeah, of course it will affect, but a nominal account,
Okay, your first
expense.
part of the answer was correct. In personal account, whenever we talk about personal account, it is associated with a person. Okay, personal account means it is associated with a person. For example, creditor Ram or debtors Sham, or capital. In case Ram started business with capital, the capital which is introduced by Ram, capital account is a personal account. Drawings, in case Ram is taking some money out of the firm, the drawings is a personal account. Anything which is related to a person will come under personal account. Clear? So first we will define what is meaning. What is the meaning? Anything related to a person. Anything related to a person. Example, creditor, debtor, capital account, etc. During this class, I will be taking at least 20 different journal entries. I will start with journal entries by using the golden rules. Then later I will switch to journal entries using the modern rules actually. The next 1.5 hours is going to be absolutely meaningful and interesting for all of you guys. Real account. What is meant by real account, guys? Anyone who can define a real account and tell me the examples of a real account? Your bank account also counts actually. Real account. Ranjana. Tell me, guys.
Don't know, sir.
The real account?
Sir,
Anyone? Yes.
relating to intangible and tangible assets, sir.
Fantastic. Real account means assets. Whenever we talk about real account, we talk about assets actually. It can be tangible, it can be intangible. Tangible means something which I can touch. Intangible is something which I cannot touch. Like goodwill, patent, trademark, all these are intangible assets. So anything related to assets, anything related to asset. Classic example is building. Please ignore the typos if there are. My keyboard is not supporting me today. Building, machinery, stock, goodwill, etc. Anything which is related to an asset will come under this category. Clear? Next is nominal account. Nominal account means all income and expenses. All income and expenses or losses and gains. Income. The classic example of income is sales. The classic example of expenses is salaries or purchases. Losses is loss on sale of machinery. And profit on sale of machinery. Just giving few examples. It can be rent, it can be any expenses or any income. Rental income, interest income, can be anything, rent, interest, electricity expenses, travel expenses, anything. All expenses come under this category. Any doubts so far? So all this, students will think all this we already know. Why are we discussing today? It's only a refresher. Okay. And after 15 to 20 minutes, I will ask you not to follow golden rules actually. Okay. Because I will introduce a new rule that is That will be the scope of discussion in all my classes. Whenever I will be taking, I will be discussing the rules that I'm going to tell you in another 10 minutes time. Okay. Okay. This was just a small refresher. Now let me take you to what is actually an account. What is actually accounting? Let me take you through. Now I will talk you about modern rules of accounts. Okay. Modern rules of, I will put it in a different page. Modern rules of accounts. This was the golden rule. Inside modern rules, I have categorized the trial balance or the items which are accounted into 5 or 6 categories. Okay. The first 2 categories are assets, expenses, assets and expenses. The next category is liability, income, capital, retained earnings. So if you see accounts, you will see only this item price. Accounts means only this items. So when I talk about these items, if you see any trial balance, you will find only asset and expenses, and you will find only liability, income, capital, and retained earnings. Apart from that, there might be some provisions also. Okay, let me talk about provisions also. So these are the only 7 items that you see in a trial balance. Okay, asset and expenses. Can someone tell me asset and expenses comes in which side of the trial balance?
Debit
Asset
side,
and
sir.
debit side. Fantastic. Who was that?
Prasanna, sir.
Okay. Debit balance. Always asset and expenses. If you take any trial balance, of any company or any book, you will see always asset and expenses always in the debit side of the trial balance. That means if building is there in the trial balance, it will always show a debit side balance. That means building will always have a debit balance. If there is a building of 40 lakhs in the trial balance, that building will show a debit balance. Clear? If there is a rent expense in the trial balance for 10 lakhs, that rent will always be coming in the debit side of the trial balance. So asset and expenses. Take any book, whichever book you are having today, see that trial balance in that book. If you're 11th standard student or 12th standard student or a BCom student, take whichever book that you have. If you see the trial balance, you will see only asset and expenses in the debit side of the trial balance. I will demonstrate to you in the next 1 hour. I will demonstrate to you why I am saying this also. Okay, asset and expenses. If you see the credit side of any trial balance, you will find only liability, income, capital, and retained earnings. Income, liability, income, capital, retained earning, and provisions. Provisions is nothing but provision for depreciation or provision for doubtful debts or general reserve. Okay, this is retained earnings or reserves. It can be general reserve, it can be profit and loss account. All these items always you will see in the credit side of the trial balance. If you open any trial balance, you will see only liability, you will see only income, you will see sales, you will see a bank loan, you will see a bills payable, you will see a creditor in the credit side, you will see interest income, you will see rental income, any liability. Liability means creditors, bills payable, bank loan. Okay, then you will see reserves. Reserves mean general reserve, profit and loss account, if the accumulated profit and loss account, if the firm is profitable. Okay, what else we can see? We can see provision for bad debts. We can see provision for depreciation. Any reserves will be always in the credit side. So liability, income, capital, reserve, this always finds a place in the credit side of the trial balance. Clear? Now, this is about the trial balance, but I was talking about how to form a journal entry. So let us understand how to form a journal entry. There are only two rules that you have to remember for your life when forming a journal entry, right? One rule for the debit side, another rule for the credit side. So let us first talk about the rule for the debit side. Whenever assets / expenses increase, debit. Asset or liability decrease means credit. Asset and expenses decrease means credit. Simple. Note it down, guys. Most important concept, and this concept I will be using in every class of mine from today onwards. Every class of mine I will be using this concept. Asset and expenses increase means debit. I will demonstrate to you, or I will also show it to you what it means actually. So stay with me for the next 1 hour. Very focused. I will show it to you what it means. Asset and expenses increase means debit. Asset and expense decrease means credit. So what will be the rule for the credit side now? Okay, I will put it in 2 different colors so that we are able to understand. This is the credit side. This is the rules for the debit side. Okay, now rules for the credit side. Okay. Liability, income, capital, retained earning. Increase means credit. Second rule is if liability, income, capital and retained earning decrease means credit. Decrease means debit, sorry. Decrease means debit. So the rule is very simple. Decrease means debit. Increase means credit for this category. Here increase means debit. Here decrease means credit. Okay. So first see the basic balance. The basic balance for asset and expenses is always a debit balance. So if I purchase another asset, debit the asset. If I purchase another asset, debit the asset. If I am selling one asset, credit the asset. That means if asset is increasing, debit, or if expenses are increasing, debit. If asset are decreasing, credit, or expenses are decreasing, credit it. For the liability side, I am going to take a loan today from the bank. When I take a loan today from the bank, my loan will increase or my liability will increase. When liability will increase, what I shall do? What is the rule that is telling? For liability, income, capital, always it's a credit balance. When credit balance is going to further increase, I have to credit it, right? So liability, income, capital and retained earnings, if it is increasing, credit it. If it is decreasing, debit it. Clear, guys? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This completes your understanding or discussion on debits and credits actually. But the next 1 hour I'm going to spend only on these rules with multiple illustrations, and you are going to participate with me. Okay. First, what I will do, I will give a very simple journal entry. I will ask you to put that journal entry in golden rules. Then I will ask you to put that in modern rule. The first 4 journal entries I will take in both the rules. After that, I will stop golden rules. I will discuss only modern rules actually. In my class, I don't discuss golden rules at all. The reason why I am telling golden rules is only for you to refresh the golden rules actually. Now you are at a professional level. So golden rules are were academic till 11th and 12th, it was fine. But those who are not in 11th and 12th, I will strictly ask you to follow the modern rules. Am I clear? Okay. So let me take an example. Now we will do a lot of examples. Transactions. So let me give a very simple transaction. Everyone knows the journal entry of this transaction. I'm 100% confident about it. First transaction. Ram started business with capital. I'm sure everyone knows the journal entry for this. Okay. Can someone tell me the journal entry? Ram started business with capital. Sivanesh, what is the journal entry for Ram started business with capital?
Sir, I have no idea about it, sir.
No idea about it. Okay.
Cash account debit to capital account.
Cash account debit to capital account. Okay. So it is cash account debit to Ram's capital account. Okay. This is the entry. Let us assume amount is 1 lakh. Amount is not very important for me for my current discussion, but let me still put the amount because I want to put a trial balance by end of the discussion. Okay, so don't focus much on amount. Amount is very secondary to me at this point. Ram started business with capital, cash account debit to capital account. When we are talking about this entry, cash account debit to Ram's capital account, we applied lot of rules actually. Unknowingly, we applied lot of rules. Okay, Neha is telling yes, so I will ask Neha. Okay, so what is the modern rule? What is the golden rule that we have applied actually? First of all, see, before getting into a transaction, journal entry is very secondary actually. First, we have to see for every transaction, there will be a debit and a credit actually. So first we have to identify 2 things which has happened during this transaction. When Ram started business with capital, 2 things would have come. One is cash would have come into the business because someone is putting some cash into the business, and that cash, when the proprietor is putting a cash into the business, that cash is called as capital. Okay, so 2 things are coming into the business. One is cash, another is capital. Now we have to identify this cash will come under which category?
Personal accounts.
This cash
Real accounts, sir. Real
okay.
account.
This nature is
Real
real
account.
account. Cash is a real account. And Ram's capital is a personal account.
Personal account.
Okay. Now, what is the rule telling? In case of real account, what is the rule tells? Real account. Debit. What
Debit
comes
Comes
in?
in, credit what
Credit what goes out. So what rule we applied? Debit what comes in, because cash is coming in. Golden rule. Ram's capital, personal account, debit the receiver and credit the giver.
Giver.
So what rule we apply? Credit the giver. So this is the rule that we have applied. This is how we arrived at this transaction, cash account debit to Ram's capital account. The same transaction, I will ask you to think through a modern rule now. See, whenever we talk about modern rule, you should have this 5 categories in mind. Asset, expenses, liability, income, and capital. Have this 5 category in mind. Now think of cash. Cash will come under which category out of the 6 categories? Cash will come under which category?
Asset, sir.
Cash is an asset. So when I call cash as an asset, when Ram is bringing cash, the cash is increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
How it is decreasing?
Sir, cash, because he is taking cash from the account, sir.
Whenever we talk about accounting, we talk from the business point of view. We don't talk from the proprietor point of view.
Okay.
So if I am a business and Ram is a proprietor or a partner, when Ram gives to me some amount, which I am a business actually, if Ram gives some amount to me, the cash in the business will increase or decrease?
It increases, sir.
It will increases. So cash will come under which category? Cash will come under asset. When asset is increasing, what we shall do?
Debit.
Debit. Okay. So that means asset increase means, first of all, we have to identify which category it is, asset. And what is the rule for asset? Asset increases means debit. So what rule I applied? Asset increase means debit. And capital will come under which category? There is a separate category for capital. Right? In the modern rules, we have a category called capital. So capital will come under capital. When Ram is giving capital to the firm, the capital in the firm will increase or decrease? Guys? Capital will increase or decrease?
It will increase, sir.
It will increase because 2 things are coming. One is cash is coming, another is capital is coming. So when capital is increasing, what is the rule tells? Capital increase means
Credit.
sir.
Credit, sir.
you can stop me at any point of time, guys. But I want absolute clarity in terms of concept actually. And in spite of my instructions, I see 9 people turning off the camera. First class, I will be lenient. Second class, I will not give any instructions. The student will be without any notification. I can remove the student actually. And when I tell this, I'm actually very strict on this. Okay. So if the cameras are on, I have a liberty to take you out of the class. So please ensure the cameras are on throughout the duration of the class. Okay. Okay, so this is the first transaction. Second transaction, let us make a very simple transaction, sales. Sales made to Sham. Everyone knows the transaction, I know. Sales made to Sham. What is a transaction? There are 2 things involved. One is I'm making a sales, another is Sham. Okay, two things are involved. When I make a sales will come under which category? If you think about the golden rules, personal, real or nominal, which category sales will come?
Nominal.
sir.
Nominal.
Nominal
Sham,
account.
okay, let me put the entry because everyone is aware of the entry. Sham account debit to sales. Sales will come under nominal account. Okay, and Sham will come under personal account. I don't think anyone will differ in this personal account. Okay, the amount is 20,000. 20,000. Amount is not significant. Personal account, debit the receiver. Okay. Personal account, debit the receiver. Sales, what is the credit all income and gain? This is an income. Credit all income. Yeah, these are the 2 rules we had applied in this. Now let us come to the modern rules actually. See, my emphasis will be only on modern rules for this class. RAM account debit to sales account. So first understand RAM will come under which category, guys? RAM will come under which category? You have to always visualize only this 6 categories. RAM will come under which category? Whether RAM is an asset, liability, expense, income, capital. I'm talking about RAM. I'm not talking about sales. Whether RAM is an asset, liability, income, capital. What is RAM in this transaction?
Sham is an asset, sir.
Okay.
Asset, sir.
It's a sham, right? Okay, sham. We call this asset as what? Debtors. Because he is not going to pay me today. He's going to pay me at a later stage. We call this asset as debtors, right? Okay. So assets, example, classic example of assets are debtors, cash, machinery, building, etc. These are all examples. Expenses we already know. We have discussed a lot on expenses. Salary, wages, travel expenses, etc. All these are expenses. Liability, we all know. Creditors. If we make a credit purchase, creditors, bank loan, bills payable, etc. Income is sales, interest income, rental income, etc. Capital means capital. Retained earnings means what? Means profit and loss account. General reserve. Etc. Provisions, I don't think it is relevant at this point to discuss, but still provision means, example is provision for depreciation. Provision for doubtful debts. These are the things which comes under provision. Okay, so I gave an example of each of the category also. So we were discussing about sham account debit to sales. Sham, someone told that it's a debtor, asset, and sales. What is, which category sales will come, guys, out of the 6 category? In the modern rules, out of the 6 category, which category sales? Income. Okay. So what is the rule for income? What is the rule for asset? What is the rule for asset? Asset and expenses increase means debit. When I make a credit sales to Sham, my asset is increasing or decreasing? Sham is not going to pay me today. He will pay me at a later date. So I will call him as a debtor. So my debtors will increase or decrease?
Increase, sir.
Increase. So debtor increase means?
Asset
Debtor
debit.
increase means debit. So asset increase means Sham is what? Is a debtor. Debtor is an asset. Okay. Asset increase means debit. Very good. And income increase means credit. So if I make a sales, my income will increase, right? Income increase means credit. Next. Purchases from Mohan. Purchases from Mohan. So when I make a purchase from Mohan, entry will be what, guys? What are the 2 accounts which are involved? Identify the 2 accounts which are involved first of all.
Purchase.
Purchase and yes, one is purchase.
Cash.
Okay, I did not mention I'm making a cash purchase. This is a purchase from Mohan. So when it's a purchase from Mohan, it is understood as credit purchases. So purchase account and Mohan account. So purchase account debit to Mohan. Okay, this is the last transaction I will be discussing under golden rule. After that, I will hide this columns. Okay, 10,000. 10,000. Purchase account. Purchase will come under which category under golden? Personal, real, or nominal?
Nominal.
Nominal. Mohan, we know, is a personal account. Okay. So what is the rule in nominal guys? Debit all expenses. Purchases and expenses. Debit all expenses. In personal account, what is the rule guys? Credit the giver. Credit the giver. This is the rule that we have applied guys in personal account. So I will hide this too. I am not going to discuss this further. Golden rule. We'll talk only about the modern rules. Okay. Purchase will come under which category? Asset.
Expense.
Expenses, sir.
Expenses. So expenses. What is the rule for expenses? Go to this rule, guys. When I make a purchase, my expenses will increase or decrease?
Increases.
Increase. When expenses are increasing, what we
Debit.
shall do? Debit. So debit all expenses. Fantastic. Debit increase. Expense increase means debit. When I make a purchase, my expenses will increase. Mohan will come under which category? We have only 5 categories, 6 categories here. Mohan will come under which category, guys? Be quick.
Creditor liability.
Who was this?
Neha.
Neha. Yes. Mohan will come under creditors and liability. Okay. So my liability is increasing or decreasing?
Increases, sir.
Liability increase means credit. See, when I make a credit purchase, obviously my liability will increase, right? At some point of time, I have to pay to that guy, right? If today I am not going to pay, it doesn't mean that tomorrow I don't have to pay. So tomorrow I have to pay means today I am having a liability. So liability increase means credit. Clear? Take any transaction which is there in your mind. Any transaction which is there in your mind, let me know. We will form journal entries. Any transaction which is there in your mind. It can be as simple as salary payment, rent payment, purchases, bank loan repayment, anything which comes to your mind. Okay, let us take a bank loan taken from bank. My keypad is having a problem. Loan taken from bank. See, when I see every transaction will have 2 things, debit and credit. Identify the 2 things in this transaction. When I take a loan from bank, which are the 2 things? One is I will get some amount. On top of it, I will get a liability also. Right? So 2 things. One is my bank account will increase because the bank will credit some amount into my bank account. Second is that amount which is credited will also be a liability to me. So 2 things. One is bank account, another is bank loan. So 2 things. Bank account and bank loan. Now let us understand bank will come under which category, bank loan will come under which category. Bank will come under which category, guys? Bank.
Asset, sir.
Asset. So when I get a loan, my bank balance will increase or decrease?
Increases.
Increase.
Right? Suddenly I will have 5 lakhs in my account, but unfortunately that's a loan. So 5 lakh rupees bank balance increased. So my bank balance will increase. So when asset is increasing, what is the rule, guys? Asset increase means
Debit.
Debit. So fantastic. So that is the reason why we debited bank. Okay, bank is assuming I took a loan of 5 lakh. Okay. Asset increase. Sorry, first of all, it's an asset, and bank loan is a liability. Asset increase means debit, and liability increase means credit. Okay, a liability will come under which? Sorry, bank loan will come under which category? It is a liability. And what is the rule for liability, guys? Go to see. If you remember, if you're just noticing, I'm using only 2 rules. asset and expenses increase means debit, asset and expenses decrease means credit. The second rule that I am using is liability, income and capital increase means credit, liability, income and capital decrease means debit. And throughout the foundation, in the next 3.5 months, I'm not going to talk about a different rule actually. I'm only going to use these two rules for any of the journal entries that we are going to talk. And every class I will touch upon this. Every class I will touch upon. I will ask you whether it is an asset, whether it's an income, whether it's a liability. By end of, in the next 2 or 3.5 months that you spend with me, you will become an expert actually. In fact, I have few students of my 11th standard also attending this session. If you ask them at night 1 o'clock also in their sleep, they will tell building means asset, it has to be debited. At any point of time, if you ask any of the students who are attending this session who are in my 11th, they will be in a position to tell you what is asset, what is expenses, what is income, liability, and credit. So my students can never go wrong in journal entries, and in terms of the basic concepts, they can never go wrong. Okay, so be very, very strong in basics, guys. It's very, very important. In fact, I have set the standards in the last 45 minutes. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to again take multiple examples. And by my expectation is by end of this, when it strikes 8 a.m., you all should be in a position to understand what is a debit and credit. Any doubts so far? I will stop here. Any doubts so far? Okay, liability. So when I take a loan, my liability will increase, right? So liability increase means, what is the rule, guys? Liability increase means?
Credit, sir.
Yes. I'm getting only one response. Who was this, Monish?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, my keyboard. Okay, ignore the spelling mistake, guys. Few keys are not working today. Bank account debit to bank loan. Okay, so asset increase means debit, liability increase means credit. Very simple. Next transaction. Okay, let us make a payment of salaries. Salary paid to Mohan in cash. I made a payment of salary in cash. 2 accounts which are involved in this transaction. Identify the 2 accounts. Which are the 2 accounts, guys? Be quick.
Salary account and cash account, sir.
Salary account and cash account. Who was this? New voice.
Sir, Srihari, sir.
Srihari. Salary account debit to cash account. Salary account debit to cash account. Fantastic. Now, when I make a payment of salary, salary will come under which category? First, identify, visualize the 6 categories. Which category? Expenses. Fantastic.
Expense.
Salary is an expense. So when I make a payment of salary, my expense will increase or decrease?
Increase, sir.
Increase, sir.
Increase. Expenses
Increase.
increases means debit or credit?
Credit.
Debit.
Debit. I heard a voice credit. Okay. Expenses increase means?
Debit, sir.
Debit. Fantastic.
Good.
Expenses. See, participation is important. You can tell wrong also, no problem, because we are all learning. Expenses increase means debit. When I make a payment of salary in cash, my cash will increase or decrease?
Decrease, sir.
Decrease. Cash is an asset or income or expense or liability? What it
Asset,
is?
sir.
Asset. Asset decrease means?
Credit, sir.
Asset decrease means credit. Let me take this as 20,000. Another transaction. Repayment of loan. Repayment of bank loan. Now I took a loan, right? I took a loan of 5 lakh. Let me repay for 1 lakh rupees. I'm going to repay 1 lakh rupees of loan. Can someone tell me okay, before repayment, if I have taken a loan, there will be interest, right? Interest on bank loan. Repayment, I will take the next entry. Let us take interest on bank loan. Bank will charge me interest, right? Interest on bank loan. When I have to pay interest on my loan, which are the 2 accounts which are involved, guys?
Bank
on
loan.
bank.
Bank account, sir.
Bank loan, see my loan which I have taken for 5 lakh now will become 5 lakh 10,000 because bank has charged 10,000 rupees interest, right? The loan which was originally 5 lakh now will become 5 lakh 10,000. That means my loan is increasing. Second is interest. What is interest? Interest will come under which category?
Expenses.
Expense,
Interest
sir.
will come under expenses. So to impact, see every transaction you have to see which are the two impacts actually. One, we are evidently able to see that interest is an expense. Another thing is instead of 5 lakh, I have to pay 5 lakh 10,000. That means my loan is also increasing, right? So one is expenses are increasing, another is liability is increasing. So expenses increase means
Debit, sir.
interest on loan account debit to bank loan. Okay, interest on loan account debit to bank loan, assuming the interest is 5,000 rupees. Okay, interest is an expense. Expense increase means debit. Okay, and loan is a liability. My liability will increase. Instead of 5 lakh, I have to pay 5 lakh 5,000 now. I took a loan for 5 lakh, but I have to repay 5 lakh 5,000. So my liability is increasing. When liability is increasing, what we shall do? Credit. Clear? This is the due entry. This is not the payment entry. We call it as accrual entry or due entry. This is a due entry. What will be the payment entry for this? Now I have to make the payment. Okay, when I have to make the payment, what entry will I pass? Very simple. My loan, I will repay my loan of 5,000 rupees. Interest is already debited. Don't debit interest again. It will be bank loan account debit to bank loan account debit to bank account. If I have to pay this interest, or we can combine to one entry also. My liability will decrease. If I making a payment of interest, my liability will decrease. Okay, to bank account, my asset decreases means credit. Okay, this can be combined as a one single entry also if you want. You remove this. To keep it simple, you can also mention like that. Interest on loan account debit to bank account. Your expenses are increasing, your bank account will reduce. Clear? Or you can split that into two different entries also. Okay. Repayment of bank loan. Now I am going to repay the principal amount. Out of 5 lakh, I am going to repay 1 lakh rupees. Right? Which are the two accounts involved? Sivanesh, when I repay a bank loan, which are the two accounts which will be involved? Give it a try. Don't tell I'm not aware actually.
Expense, sir.
Okay. When you repay a bank loan is what?
It's a liability, sir.
Yes. So when bank loan is a liability, when you are repaying a liability, your liability will increase or decrease?
Increase, decrease, sorry.
Decrease. Liability will decrease. At the same time, your bank account, what will happen to the bank account? There will be a reduction in your bank account, right? You will use your bank account to make the payment. So two accounts which are involved is bank loan, another is bank account. P is not working. Bank loan and bank account. Okay. So what happens when I repay a loan? My liability will increase or decrease?
Decrease, sir.
Liability decrease means?
Debit,
What is
sir.
the rule? Debit.
Debit.
And asset decrease means?
Credit, sir.
Asset decrease means credit. So the same entry. This entry will get repeated with a change in amount. Clear, guys? Any doubt? Next transaction. So far we have discussed about 7 transactions. We'll extend this discussion further. In final accounts, you have heard about outstanding salary. Outstanding salary. Okay, let us. Outstanding salary. What is outstanding salary? An employee has worked.
Sir.
An employee has worked under me but I am not in a position to pay the salary. Right? That means I have an expense visible in front of me, but I don't have the cash to pay my employee. Okay. So this particular outstanding expenses is a liability actually, because tomorrow I have to pay. If today I am not in a position to pay, tomorrow I have to pay, right? So outstanding salary is a liability. At the same time, I have an expense in front of me. I have a salary expense in front of me. So two things which are there is, one is an expense, salary. See, whenever we do accrual system of accounting, okay, it is not important whether we make the payment or not. If we have incurred an expenses, I have to debit expenses. I have enjoyed the services of my employee, right? He worked with me for 1 month. So when I enjoyed the services of my employee, I have an expense in front of me. So which is the expense? Salary. Salary is an expense. So salary account debit to salary outstanding. Salary 20,000, assuming 20,000 salary. Okay, salary debit. Salary is an expense. My expense increase means debit. Expense increase means debit, and salary outstanding is a liability. If today I am not able to pay, tomorrow I have to pay. Okay, so liability increase means credit. Yeah. Any doubt? Salary account debit to salary outstanding. Clear? Any journal entry, guys, which is there in your mind, you can tell me. We made a sales, right? Let us record a sales return. Sales return. Sales return, what will be there? When we recorded sales, what did we do? We did, I think, who was the party? Sales made to Sham. Sales return from Sham. How much sales we made? We made a sale of 20,000. Let me change it to 1 lakh. Okay, 1 lakh rupees sales. Now, out of 1 lakh rupees sales, he is returning 20,000 worth of goods actually. Okay, so what is happening? My income is reducing. I made a sale of 1 lakh. Now income is reducing by 20,000. Sham was a debtor. He will no longer be a debtor for 20,000 rupees. Clear? Sham was an asset, right? He was an asset. Now he will not be an asset anymore. I generated income. That income will not be there anymore. So reverse the transaction. Entry should be sales account debit, or we call it as sales return account debit. Sales return account debit to Sham. Why I debited sales return? Because sales is an income. Sales is an income. My income is increasing or decreasing? What is happening to my income? If I get a sales return, decrease in income should be
Debited, sir.
decrease in income should be debited. Okay, go to the rule. What does the rule tell? Liability, income, capital decrease means debit. Liability, income, capital. When sales is decreasing, what I shall do? I have to debit it. Clear? Any doubt? Sham is a debtor. When Sham is returning the goods to me, will he continue to be a debtor to me, or he will not be a debtor? For 20,000 rupees, he will not be a debtor to me, right, anymore. So my asset is decreasing. Debtor is an asset. So Sham as a debtor will decrease. From 1 lakh, my debtor balance will come to 80,000. Right? He was a debtor to me for 1 lakh. Now he will be a debtor to me for only 80,000 rupees. So my asset is decreasing. When asset is decreasing, what I shall do? Credit, guys. Any doubt? Prasanna, Ramesh, you're thinking something?
No, sir, I'm clear with it.
Clear? Okay. Asset decrease means credit. Any doubt? Let us make a purchase return quick, guys. I think we are good so far. Purchase from whom we made? From Mohan we made a purchase of, I will again change it to 50,000. Purchase from Mohan. Purchase return from Mohan. See, when I made a purchase, I called that as an expense. And Mohan I treated as a creditor. 50,000 rupees I purchased. 10,000 rupees I am going to return. I did not like the good. I am returning 10,000 rupees. When I return 10,000 rupees, my expenses will increase or decrease?
Decrease, sir.
Decrease. Yes. I made a purchase of 50,000. Now my purchase will be 40,000 because 10,000 I returned. Clear? I had to pay 50,000 rupees. Now I will have to pay only 40,000 rupees because 10,000 rupees I returned. So my creditor is increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing. So Mohan as a creditor is decreasing. So creditor decrease means what? Liability decrease means?
Debit.
Liability decrease means debit. Liability decrease means debit. And purchases is an expenses. Purchases is an expense. Expense decrease means credit. Any doubt? Okay. I sold goods to Sham. Now Sham is telling boss, I have become bankrupt. I will not be able to pay you the amount. So I have some bad debts. Okay, bad debts. What is the entry for bad debts? Bad debts from Sham. 1 lakh rupees I purchased, 20,000 he returned, 80,000 rupees is the amount that he has to pay to me. He is telling 40,000 rupees I will not pay. Only 50% amount I will pay. 40,000 has become bad debt. Bad debt will come under which category? Only 5 categories, guys. You just have to think all the transaction in these 5 categories only. Bad debts will come under which category?
Expense.
Expenses. Okay. Asset, I will increase this asset, expenses or losses. Asset, expenses or losses. Okay. Asset, expenses or losses. So bad debt will come under which category, guys? It is a loss to me.
Loss.
Okay. So bad debts, expenses or loss. Expenses or loss, whatever you can call it. Bad debt, he is not going to pay me 40,000 rupees. What is the next leg of the transaction? Every transaction has 2 legs, right? One leg is an expense, bad debt. Another leg is Sham. Sham is not going to pay me amount. So Sham was a debtor. My debtor is increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing. So Sham was what? He was an asset. My asset is decreasing means what I shall do?
Credit.
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 Yes, asset decreases means expense increases means debit. Where is expense? Expense increases means debit. So we have taken total 11 transactions so far. Any doubt? I can continue, guys. As many transactions as you want, I can continue. But are you clear at this stage? Are you able to understand what is a debit and credit? Any doubt so far, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. Even if one of you are having a doubt, please feel free to ask me. I want everyone to be absolutely clear. Any doubt?
No, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Okay. Now, in the beginning of the session, I told you asset and expenses and losses will always be in the debit side of the trial balance. Now, let us put a trial balance and see whether the rules holds good or not. With the 10 transactions that we have done, right? I will not take all 10 transactions. Maybe I can take also, let me see. Let us put a small trial balance. How does a trial balance look? Everyone knows, right? I will put a small trial balance out of this. See, generally, after a journal, we have to prepare a ledger. From ledger only, we have to prepare a trial balance. I'm taking a shortcut. I'm not preparing a ledger and all. Okay, so particulars, debit, and first transaction, cash account debit to Ram. I will put the nature also. So we will do some plus minus and we'll get the trial balance. So cash account debit to Ram. So first is cash. How much is the transaction? 1 lakh rupees is the transaction. That means I got 1 lakh rupees debit, and Ram's capital. Ram's capital, 1 lakh rupees credit. So this is the trial balance after one entry. Assuming I have started business and I have only one entry in my books of accounts. So this is how my trial balance will look like after one entry. Clear? That is the only entry in my books of accounts. This is my trial balance after single entry. So cash is an asset and Ram is a capital. Next entry, Sham account debit to sales. So I have two more new ledgers. Sham, which is a new ledger, and sales is also a new ledger. I don't have this. Sham, how much you made? 1 lakh rupees we made, Sham. 1 lakh rupees, Sham, and sales was created by 1 lakh rupees. Okay. So Sham was an asset, he's a debtor. Sales is an income. Clear, guys? Next transaction, purchases from Mohan. So I have two more accounts now. Purchases and Mohan. How much was that? 50,000. 50,000 and Mohan, it was 50,000. Purchases is an expense. And Mohan is a liability because I have to pay back to Mohan. Here. Now, next was loan taken from bank. Bank account debit to bank loan. I took a loan of 5 lakh rupees. These are again two new members in the trial balance. Bank and bank loan, 5 lakh rupees transaction. I'm just seeing whether I covered all possible combination. Bank account is asset, liability. So I have a asset is there, expenses is there, liability is there, income is there. Okay, what else is? Capital is also there. Okay, we have all the categories at this point of time. Let us take few more transactions. Salary account debit to cash account. Or I will put it as I have a cash balance of salary account debit to cash account. Okay, so let us put salary and cash will reduce from cash. Salary was how much? 20,000 rupees, right? So salary debit by 20,000 rupees. And my cash balance, which was 1 lakh, after paying salary will become 80,000. So I'm adjusting the cash balance here. See, in trial balance, I don't repeat the ledgers. I will have only one ledger one time. All of you are aware of that. So I'm reducing my cash. So salary is an expense. One important thing that I forgot to do is total the trial balance. My trial balance should always match. Debit and credit should be equal, right? Okay, so far the totals are intact. Let us take okay 7,50,000 as per 4 transactions, 5 transactions. Let me take this 8th transaction. I'm not taking all transactions. I'm just taking some few transactions. Salary account debit to salary outstanding. Let us take this transaction. Salary account debit to salary outstanding. Salary I have already is there, right? How much was that? 20,000 rupees. I'm not taking all transactions, guys, or I will rather color the transactions that I have taken. I'm just demonstrating a trial balance. I don't want to take all transactions. This 5 transactions I have taken. I'm taking this also. I think that is enough for me to demonstrate a trial balance. Salary account debit to salary outstanding. So salary, how much was that amount? Forward. 20,000 rupees. Okay. So salary will increase by another 20,000 rupees. And salary outstanding, a new account will be created. I don't have the salary outstanding account so far. So salary outstanding, a new account will come in the trial balance. My trial balance is ready with 5 transactions or 6 transactions. Okay. So this is a liability. In the beginning, I told all asset and expenses will be in the debit side of the trial balance. Let us see. I'm filtering only debit side now. Now see the debit side alone. In the debit side, I'm just filtering only the debit side. Everything is the debit side balance, only asset and expenses. If you see the column F, cash, all the asset and expenses only, I do not have any income, liability or capital in the debit side of the trial balance. Am I clear? Okay. If I see the credit side of the trial balance, now I will show you the credit side of the trial balance. If you see the credit side of the trial balance, I should have only income, liability and capital. Just check this and verify. I have only Ram's capital, I have only sales, I have only liability. So I have only liability, income and capital in the credit side of the trial balance. That is what I told in the beginning. Always any trial balance you see, asset and expenses will always be in the debit side. Liability, income and capital will always be in the credit side of the trial balance. Any doubt, guys?
No, sir.
Clear? Good. I think that's all I wanted to discuss in the first session. Introduction of debit and credit to all of you guys. Okay. Any doubt so far? Yes, you okay.
Sorry, sir.
Hmm?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing?
Sorry. Not aware, sir.
Okay. You were testing whether option is working or not. Raise
Sorry,
hand
sir. I
options.
clicked on mic button, so.
No problem. I was just kidding.
Okay.
Any doubt, guys? Any one of you? Other one. Any doubt?
No, sir. No, sir.
No. Okay. Let me call one by one. Sivanesh, are you clear?
Yes, sir. ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்துட்டு புரியாம தான் சார் இருந்துச்சு. போக போக எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் வர வர புரிஞ்சிடுச்சு சார்.
புரிஞ்சிச்சா? So I will ask you ரெண்டு எக்ஸாம்பிள் கேட்குறேன் actually. Let me see whether you get it correctly or not. Okay. Good, guys. See whether you know or not, participate in my class.
Okay,
if you make a mistake, I will correct you. That is my that is why I am here. So don't feel free to don't shy from not participating actually. Okay. So any doubt, guys? Those who want to take it actually can take this very important very important notes, guys. This one what you have in screen now, because next 4 months or 3 months of discussion is only going to be around this concept. Okay, if you are clear on this, I can ensure that going forward all the subsequent chapter will start looking easy for you actually. And again I am repeating, guys, whenever it is about accounts or any subject, don't try to mug up. Absolutely zero mugging up in our classes actually. Not only me, including all the faculties I'm telling. Whichever subject, absolutely zero mugging up. Particularly in accounts, there is no scope of mugging up actually. Understand each and every, whenever you see a journal entry, see whether that journal entry will come under asset or expenses. Then see whether it will come under liability, income or capital. Any transactions that you take in your life, I'm talking about the next 40 or 5 with the accounts. Okay. So are you able to hear me, guys? Sorry, I think I lost network in between. Are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. So what I was telling is, whichever stage of accounting you are, whether you are a CA final student or whether you have a qualified chartered accountant or any book that you are referring, we have only 6 or 7 categories of transactions, right? So all the transactions that you see in your life going forward, you have to just categorize in this buckets actually, and see whether the transaction involves an asset or expense. If asset and expenses are increasing, debit it. If asset and expenses are decreasing, credit it. Then you have to categorize whether they come under liability, income, or capital. If liability, income, or capital are increasing, means credit it. If they are decreasing, liability, income, or capital is decreasing, means debit it. Simple, guys. Any doubt? Okay. So how many of you understood, guys? If you understood, put yes in the chat box. If you did not understood, put no in the chat box, so that at least I understand whether you guys followed me or not. Okay. Good. So I have only 5 or 6 responses so far. Okay. Good, guys. So I will take it as a confirmation that you guys have understood. Practice as much as possible. Okay. So we'll meet in the next class. From the next class, we'll directly get into the topics. Okay. I'm yet to decide which topic I have to take actually. So from the next class onwards, we'll get directly into the topics. So it will be whatever is your portions, we'll start covering those portions. Fine. And be regular to the classes. Don't miss the classes, guys. Very, very important that we are regular in the classes and come on time. I don't encourage participants to come late to my class. And switching on camera is also mandatory. And focus should be absolutely on concepts. So if you are doing everything what we tell you, be rest assured that your journey in foundation is going to be smooth and easy. Fine. That we will ensure from our end. The only thing that we require is discipline and continuity of classes actually. Okay. Remaining thing we will take care. And from day 1 onwards, start putting efforts towards foundation, because foundation is not similar to 11th and 12th. At this point of time, to start with, you will have to work for 2 to 3 hours per day, every day. Towards the end of nearing exams, you will at least have to stretch for minimum 4 to 6 hours actually. So that should be good enough to ensure that you score your foundation marks. Our target is not 200. Our target should be anywhere close to 300 or beyond that. Actually. Don't target for 200, then you will never reach 200 at all. Am I clear, guys? So have targets, higher targets, ensure that we are working towards those targets, and everything that is required from us as an institute will be here to help you. The only thing that we require is you have to be regular and regular to the class, and also follow the concepts, guys. Stop mugging up. Just stay focused on the concepts. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I will meet you in the next class with a new topic. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Yes. You have a question?